All right, everybody, here we go. 7.3, the last one here. Let's go with work there for 1 hour. Hopefully this does not take an hour because I still owe you time from 7.1. That one was a beast. 7.2 is shorter though. Here we go. 7.3, solid waste. Natural resource, solid waste, which is a nice way of saying trash. Natural resource and waste. According to the UN Sustainable Development Goals 12, if the global population reaches 9.8 billion by 2050, almost 3 planets will be needed to supply the natural resources for current lifestyles, which is not going to happen non-sustainably. So, in 2015, about 12 tons of resources were extracted per person, with electronic waste, e-waste, as the fastest growing sector. Yep, so e-waste we got to do quite a bit with. The idea of disposable electronics is not that really sustainable. So, since the early 20th century, industrialized countries have wasted about 30% of the natural resources they extract or harvest. In fact, we're really good at it. Hopefully, we get a lot better at not doing that, though. This is unsustainable because many industrial societies rely on non renewable resources like fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are generally what drive our economies in high income countries. So, let's see. Overexploitation causes pollution, irreversible environmental change, biodiversity loss, and social conflicts. All because really what matters more to people than all of those is money. So, when money is what your chief goal is, that is what you will attain. Waste can be classified by source or type. It's kind of odd like that. Major waste types include liquid, solid, organic, recyclable, and hazardous. Both those you'll see can be like source or type. Sources you can have household, domestic, daily waste. Industry you can have unusable production materials like just cast off materials. There's a company called Cotopaxi. I used to know the rep for this company. You see how they're made out of like all these like funky materials? Well, no, when you order online, you don't know what color you're getting because basically they're all made by hand and they're all like castaway materials from like the North Face or Arc'teryx, Patagonia, companies like that. And they just take the castaway materials and make new things out of it. So really pretty cool. Agriculture, unwanted or unsellable produce. So, yep. Gotta think of a way to use that. Solid domestic waste. Solid domestic waste is rubbish from homes and urban areas. It's basically what goes into your trash. It includes paper, packaging, food waste, glass, dust, metals, plastic, textiles, paint, old batteries, and e-waste. Yeah. Though it is only about 5% of total waste, industrial and agricultural included, it is the waste most under human control. So you have that to think about. Some things that really help you out with getting rid of just your trash, the amount you put out. Recycling. I have a recycle container that's bigger than our trash barrel. Like literally, if I don't put my trash barrel out in a week, it's really not a big deal besides the stench. I mean, there's going to be room for it. The recycling, if I forget, that thing gets filled. The other thing you can do is composting. Like literally, just by saving your fruit and vegetable scraps, like you cut down so much on what goes out in the trash, and really you reuse that for like for good purpose. So, it really, I tell people, well, how much like me and my wife, we can live out of like a trash can that's the size like for a week, like the one that's the size of like a bathroom trash can. It ain't much. Yeah, let's do that. When is something waste? Waste depends on its value. Oh yeah, the other thing about we also recycle e-waste. So like we'll have a pile and like anything that's like electronics recycling, we'll make a special run every 6 months to Green Monster Recycling in West Hartford, Connecticut. So, waste depends on its value to people. What is waste to one may be useful to another. Yep, America was built on this. Trash picking. So, dumpster diving. Dumpster dived in college. Yeah, man, sometimes you need a kitchen table and you can spend hundreds of dollars, or you can just see that one that's by the curb and you got a buddy with a pickup truck, and oh yeah, that won't be there at night. So this is common in low-income countries. Hey, I got a little bit of that in me, where people in industries reuse solid domestic waste. Families may live on or near landfills, searching for useful items that they can then resell. Definition: waste is material with no value to its producer. Yep. If not recycled, it becomes a problem. Most human activities, energy, transportation, construction, selling, domestic tasks, create waste, which is then a problem. Volume and composition of waste. Global average is 0.74 kilograms of waste per person per day, but varies greatly. Some countries it's 0.11 kilograms. Other places it's 4.54 kilograms. So yeah, you got some wasteful bums out there. More urbanized and wealthier countries produce more waste. Oh, sorry. Yuck. In 2016, the world generated 2.01 billion tons of municipal solid waste. It's expected to reach 3.4 billion tons by 2050. LIC waste is expected to more than triple by 2050. Yep, just some raw numbers for you. East Asia and Pacific produce the most, 23%. Middle East and North Africa, the least, 6%. So, interesting. Recyclables make up a significant share of that waste, and rising incomes increase paper waste the most. So, yep. All right, let's take a look at this down here. Municipal solid domestic waste, MSW, produced versus income levels. Let's see if I can make that a little bigger for you. Yeah, just like that. So, question. Identify the amount of municipal solid domestic waste generated per capita in Canada. Canada, right here, the highlighted one. Ding, 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 ding. Follow that line across. 900 kilograms per year. Hey, little pinpoint thing on this. On the IB exam, always put the measurement, all right? Or because just do it. Never put like the whole the number without it. They will never take away if you have the measurement with it, but they will, like in this situation, if that were a test question, you just put 900. They'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, you didn't put kilograms per year. No mark for you. All right. So always put the mark, the measurement there, kilograms per year. All right. Outline 2 strategies that Canada's government could use to reduce the country's per capita waste production. So you could start a campaign to educate the population about it. All right. Get people involved that way. That's always useful. You could pass laws forcing people to reuse materials or ban single-use plastics. I know that's had a major effect here in the United States. Like without at the grocery store, as soon as they banned single-use plastics, you don't see as many on the beach. Increase taxes on waste production disposal. That'd make people. That could also have just people thrown out in nature, though. So just be careful about that. You could improve recycling as well. Get recycling plants a little bit closer to where people live. Make it more of a local thing. Make it more local jobs. And that might actually save a little bit rural communities as well. So, which would be good for Canada. So, all right. Next, volume, population growth. More people equals more waste. Urbanization. Denser populations is more consumer goods. Yep, more urbanization you have, the more we have a consumer culture or just economy. Technology progresses. New technology, more disposable packaging. Yep, use it, abuse it, lose it. So, glass jars replaced by non-biodegradable plastic bottles. I like sometimes going back like for old technology, like mason jars. I use them all the time. I use them for my breakfast. I use them for my lunch. I use them for containers. Yeah, I find they're very useful. So, Higher living standards. More income is more consumption. So Amazon's really kind of pushed in even more with that. Changing shopping habits. Online shopping equals more packaging. Also, too, more fossil fuels being used. Appearances and status, luxury goods and fast fashion, throwaway culture. My wife complains about this. She complains that my clothing lasts forever, even though I don't take care of it, according to her. And then hers does not last nearly as long. And I started looking into it, and I'm like, well, it's because there's really no reward for building women's clothing that lasts long. Because it's like, all right, why build it to last long when in 6 months, regardless, it's just going to get thrown in the trash anyway. Managing solid domestic waste. Ways to manage or dispose of waste. Recycling, 3 R's. What are the other 2 R's? So there's recycle, reuse, and recycle, reduce, reuse. Yeah, those are the 3 R's. Landfill sites as well. We're running out of spots for landfills actually here in New England. So it's a big thing. Incineration. Love-hate relationship, because incineration, you get energy from it, but it also takes all that garbage that would have gone like into the land and now puts it into the atmosphere. Global warming. Anaerobic digestion. Cool technology. Takes a lot of money though. Composting organic waste. I like this. You can control it. They say you can do it indoors. For my money's worth, it's an outdoor activity. Waste to energy schemes. Like those. Export waste to other countries. Not a huge fan of that. Because then you don't know what the other country's doing with it. You're basically paying somebody to take care of your dirty business for you. Strategies to minimize waste. Reduce. Buy less, use less. Yep. Do without. Maintain belongings. Yep. I do this for my clothing. Like if it gets a hole into it, Patagonia will patch it for free. Yeah, pretty cool. Saves you money too. Choose durable, repairable items. Avoid excessive packaging. Be mindful of what can and cannot be recycled. That's something I could work on personally. Reuse. Use items multiple times. Yep. Now with clothing, when eventually it does go to crap, I just reuse it as rags. I've actually gotten to this point where I'm about to go ask my wife if we can reuse rags instead of dish sponges. It's just one more way to use them. Choose durable, repairable items. Avoid, I just said that. Compost food waste down here. We do this at my house. We do this at school. In fact, I'm thinking about offering this up to students as well, and just getting that our compost program really going strong. Donate unwanted items as well. So if you don't want it, throw it our way. All right. So give it to someone who does need it. So recycle. Sort waste into recyclables at home. I've seen some stuff about zero sort recycling. It's not as effective as like sorting recycling. And they do sort recycle off in Japan, which is really pretty cool. Community bins. Germany and the UK use these. Recycling depends on the cost balance between raw materials and recycling process. This is the big thing, like the cost of recycling. Not like you got to make it profitable. Recycling plastics. Plastics are made from oil, which is bad. Okay, we use oil that much quicker when we use plastics. Global plastic use rose from 5 million tons, 1950s, to nearly 100 million tons today. That's why when you look at old war movies or movies from the 1940s or 50s, they don't have plastics in them. If you're doing a historical reenactment, it's not going to have anything new there. So, howdy, how you doing? Come on in, no worries. Yep. Let's see, recycling plastics. Yep. 10% ends up in oceans. Up to 8% of the oil production is used for plastics, mostly for single-use packaging. So one of the reasons why single-use plastic, it's so bad. You use it, abuse it, lose it. Recycling plastics is difficult because there are many types, and it's bulky and light. And you can only recycle them for so often before the integrity breaks down. Some plastics have more value to recyclers, but must be sorted first, which takes time and machine and effort. So, why is the plastic bag so successful? Became popular in the late 1980s. Yay, the yuppie era. Replacing reusable bags. Fast facts, plastic bags, they're cheap. Yeah. They're waterproof, they're convenient, they're easy. If you forgot one, just grab one. The cost is one US cent per bag versus 4 cents for paper. Yeah, that's why I saw paper bags go the way of the dodo. Estimated 500 billion to 1 trillion plastic bags made yearly. Average working life of a bag, 15 minutes. Yeah. All right. Most are oil-based, take 200 to 1,000 years to break down. Also, too, just throwing it out there, if you are one of those people that like our America first, realize this. Yeah, we have oil resources in the United States, but we also have paper resources. And I'm willing to bet that you're giving more jobs and keeping more money in country if you are using paper bags as opposed to plastic bags. So, discarded bags pollute land and sea. Burning them releases toxins. So even if you incinerate it, you let off in the atmosphere. I will tell you this. So they banned bags, plastic bags, in Connecticut here. And I used to go to the ocean shore and collect all these nasty things to bring into a science class. The year they banned plastic bags, that fall, I did not see any plastic bags on the beach in the ocean. They just overnight disappeared. So that is really something rather cool that our government's put out. Solutions: Ireland tax cut used by 95%. Yeah, so basically they taxed the plastic bags and that reduced a lot of it. And we just banned them here in Connecticut. So you can still find them, but it's rare. South Africa banned thin bags. Reusable, thicker ones must be paid for. Yeah, so you got to start paying for that plastic. China banned free supermarket bags in 2018. So as a result, they started charging you for bags. So guess what? People got smart, brought their own. I know in my car, and bike, by the way, when I bike to the supermarket, I've got bags in the car, and I just get out of the car, grab a bag, and go on inside, and just keep them cycling. I've got at this point more bags than I've got no to do with. So yeah. All right, plastic cups an alternative. Complete this table using page 657 or by other means. All right, so I'm going to do that right there. Haha. So cup type, plastic, ceramic, and paper. Give me advantages, plural, of each. Give me disadvantages, plural, of each. So strategies for waste disposal. Landfill. Main disposal methods. Waste is buried at a managed site. So that's for landfill. Sites are lined to stop leachate. So that means where just the nasty stuff leaches down from the landfill into the ground, then into your water table, which basically pollutes the water table. Yeah, really kind of nasty. Pipes collect methane from decomposing waste to be used or burned. Yeah, so cool thing about landfills, that you'll see these pipes coming out, and you're like, what the heck are those for? It's basically to collect the methane, and then you can burn it for energy or use it in other ways. Soil covers waste daily to limit smells plus pest. So yeah, basically you put all this landfill, you put all your waste, and then you cover it with soil. So that basically makes it so that all that decreases the smell and the bugs and other pests. Landfill sites are harder to find as demand grows. It's just who wants to have a landfill near them. So page 369 or by other means, please list 3 advantages of landfills. List 3 disadvantages of landfills. Yep. Incineration. Incineration burns waste at up to 2,000 degrees Celsius. Some waste is pre-sorted. Heat energy can produce steam or turbines or heating waste to energy. So basically what you're doing is you're taking your trash and you're burning it. And by burning it, you're spinning a turbine, which will then generate energy for you. Love-hate relationship, because this gets some positive things on it. You decrease the amount of land for landfill. Bad thing is, good thing, you also get energy from it. Bad thing is you're putting all that nastiness off into the atmosphere, which isn't good. Burning all waste can cause air pollution, dioxins, heavy metals, nitrogen oxides, and if you have respiratory issues, that isn't good. Ash can be used in roads or landfills. Interesting, right? So you can take that ash and reuse it in roads. That's actually pretty cool. Advantages: cuts waste volume by up to 95%, saving space. Less pollution than landfills, fewer greenhouse gases and leachates. Doesn't leach into the groundwater. Generates electricity. 10% of heating from Sweden is generated this way. Smoke is filtered, can reduce transportation costs. Incinerators built near waste source. This reduces the smell, visual pollution, prevents decay, destroys germs, good for clinical waste. But remember, it destroys germs, but you still got a lot of particulate in the air. Can recycle metals as well. I wonder with incineration if they choose times when the air pollution is low as opposed to times when it's high. Can recycle metals. Yep. Operated by computers. Ash can be reused in roads. Disadvantages: it's expensive to run. Yeah, man. No way about it. Can still pollute the air, dioxins, particulates, and doesn't promote recycling really at all. Because you're like, why recycle? You can just burn it and get something from it. That's recycling. Ha 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 ha. Outline one advantage and one disadvantage of using incineration instead of landfills. So you have them right above you with advantages and disadvantages. And just ways you can do it. So, advantage, for incineration, takes up less land. It does. You get energy from it. That's cool. It produces less methane than a landfill. Disadvantages of incineration are it's more toxic air, so higher costs than landfills. That's a reason why people don't have incinerators until later on. Still produces toxic ash, which usually goes to landfills. If I'm going to be honest, it doesn't get reused as often as we'd like to think. In appearance, getting rid of landfills makes people feel that they're being environmentally friendly just because they can't see it. When reality is, we know it just puts all that trash off into the atmosphere. So, all right, anaerobic digestion. Biodegradable waste is broken down by microbes without oxygen. Yep. So this produces biogas, can be used as renewable gas, which is pretty darn cool. This leaves digested, liquid and solid. It's good for fertilizer, compost, animal bedding. So we don't waste as much. Disadvantages are carbon dioxide and other gases are released from this, which are greenhouse gases. Risk of toxic spills, odor nuisance. Damn, got a whole lot of stink to it. Needs constant waste input management, which is costly. And again, costly to set up and maintain. Composting. So what we do in school. Domestic organic waste turned into fertilizer at home or by local authorities. They do composting somewhat on a town basis, like when they do leaf collection and when they chew up grasses and other things at your local park, and then they bring the grass to the town dump, turn it over a bunch, and then it gets into soil. Advantages are it cuts the need for chemical fertilizers. We use the compost at school for our gardens or to pay back anyone into the composting program. It's just good soil. It's non-toxic. This improves soil. It's easy to do indoors. I would argue that, like, if you're thinking about composting in your apartment where you have no outside, yard or facilities, it's not easy indoors. It's a lot easier to do it outside. Reduces carbon emissions. Okay. Disadvantages of composting. Setup cost. I could disagree with that too, because I mean, like, if you just basically have a if you just get old pallets and put them together, you could start up a composter. I will say, getting one of those nice compost turning bins, oh man, that's a nice thing to have. Diseased plants can spread infections. Haven't seen this really. Time consuming, takes space, can smell. I agree with you a little bit of the smell, but that's why you do it outside, away from your house. Time consuming, little bit, but I mean, not much. Takes space, not much either. So, just ideas. All right, waste disposal methods by per capita. Let's move my ugly face down here for this one. Describe the trend shown in the use of landfills as income level increases. Figure 1B for that one. So, all right, as we start looking at this, as income level increases from like low to medium income to higher to upper middle class, you're going to have more landfills being used. All right. And, that's just one of the things. Upper middle to higher income, you start having less landfills used. Now, suggest 2 reasons for the trend shown in the use of landfills as shown in income level increases, 1B. All right. So as it goes from lower to middle income or to middle upper, countries can afford to convert from open dumps to landfills. So they start doing things a little bit better. But as you start going from middle income to higher income countries or areas, countries can afford more advanced methods of like recycling and incineration. So land use also has something to do with it, because you start being like, yeah, we don't really want that land to look all nasty. All right. Increase in the overall environmental education. All right. International trade in waste. Let me see something. I just had somebody text me something. Sup, weather looks good. Wet for. Yeah. Okay. Let me just text this buddy back here. Yeah. Let me text you back in about 20 minutes. Is that okay? Good. All right. So good news, peeps. This is hopefully get done in about 20 minutes. International trade in waste. Countries trade waste, especially plastics, recyclables, e-waste, hazardous waste. Most waste goes from HICs to LICs. It's cheaper disposal, weaker regulations. So this sucks, but like, it's one of the things like we do in the United States. Yep. Sounds good. I'll join you there. All right. So yeah, here in the United States, like, we have a bad habit of sending our e-waste over to other countries, which then doesn't really clean it up much and then just dumps it, and we're like, oh, we weren't dumping it. Yeah, but we were also, like, kind of knew what was going to happen. So, all right, e-waste, old electronics with batteries, plugs, millions of tons shipped yearly. Poor tracking means waste may be dumped illegally. Usually is. All right. We think it gets recycled. No, it usually just gets dumped. Hazardous waste, HICs export this to LICs, which accept it, and because they need money, they take the money and then they just dump it, and they're like, okay. This shifts the pollution risk to the LICs, when really you got to look at pollution as a global problem, not just like a local problem. Example, the European Union exported nearly 8.2 million tons of hazardous waste in 2020. I don't know where they exported it to. That would be an interesting thing to look up. Not going to do it here, though. Impacts of waste trading, effects on humans. Unsafe recycling, workers exposed to toxins. Toxins absorbed by skin, inhaled, or consumed. Health impacts, skin lesions, hormone issues, emphysema, reproductive harm, cancers. Effects on the environment. Improper disposal. Um, Improper disposal usually means the water and the soil pollution, just heavy toxic metals. Locally, check up why, Rentschler Field, why they can't dig down more than 3 feet into it. And there's a good reason why. All right, environmental poisoning kills wildlife. Persistent organic pollutants build up in the food chain, harming animals. That's why, right now, take a look at why you shouldn't eat fish more than twice a week. I mean, if it's ocean fish, or probably other fish too. Biodegradability and half-life. Half-life is the time for non-biodegradable material to reduce by half. Pollutants can take a long time to break down, very long time. Biodegradable, broken down by organisms into water, CO2, methane, quick and doesn't build up. Non-biodegradable, cannot be broken down biologically. Most inorganic materials persist for decades or centuries. This is why I like to use it. Look at how long you use it versus how long it takes to break down. Preventative waste management strategies. Choosing the best strategy is complex. All activities create emissions and waste. Production requires raw materials. Policymakers must balance jobs versus the environment. Remember, one of the things about sustainability is financial sustainability. All strategies have pros and cons. Focus should be on increasing sustainability in everything we do. So, the sustainable circular economy. Circular economy is really pretty cool. I'm interested in it. The linear, I think we're going to do something with it in class, so we're not going to go into it too much here, but the linear model is a take, make, and dump. That's currently what we have, is a linear model. It takes raw materials, natural materials, and we use it, use energy to produce goods. And when goods break down or become redundant, they're dumped and replaced. And we just get new raw materials, more energy to make things. So the global economy relies on this unsustainable model, but Earth's resources are finite. So eventually you're just going to run out of them. Reducing fossil fuel use only delays the depletion of natural capital. So really, it's kind of a bad hippie way of looking at it, but it's true. The circular economy is a sustainable model that aims to restore the environment, use renewable energy, reduce toxic waste, and eradicate waste through better design. So it's just constantly reusing things and using renewable energy to make things. The model depends on producers, manufacturers retaining ownership and responsibility. So it's all right, the North Face makes a fleece jacket. Well, guess what, North Face? You are stuck with that fleece jacket and that material pretty much forever. They have to take back products when no longer needed. Disassemble, refurbish, or recycle them. Sell the use of the product as a service, not the product itself. All right, so it's almost like you got a subscription based to it. It mirrors good agricultural practices where sustainable methods conserve resources. So, the circular economy of a plastic product. Applying this model requires taxes on companies that use fossil fuels instead of renewables. Ooh, yep. Therefore, fossil fuels become much more expensive. Incentives for people to return old broken products for reuse, recycling. Yeah. Got to figure out a way to really do that, though. Yep. Examples. Western Australia offers 10 cents for every returned plastic bottle. We kind of do that in the United States, too, but then it's at a certain point, you just don't return the bottle. It just becomes cost prohibitive. Social policies to normalize returns. Legislation to limit landfill use. I wonder if there's something I can do with school where we can collect bottles and then return them for money to generate funds. Oh, that's pretty cool. That might be something. Yeah. Legislation to limit landfill use, education campaigns to teach sustainability, better disposal access to waste so waste goes to the right place. TOK, the circular economy is a paradigm shift. To what extent can we be sure that a paradigm shift is for the better? We don't really. We can just think about it like, think about where it looks like, where the evidence looks like it's going to go, support the idea. If it looks good, go for it. But there's no guarantees in life except death and taxes. So, all right. I'm really onto something with that school, with the classroom initiative to collect cans and bottles, and maybe we can like make some money out of that. Yeah, and then that could fund like school projects. All right, I'm off. I got to go run and do something with that. All right, peeps. My best. Later.